Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalaka Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. As all of you are well aware, Srila Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness all over the world as the constitutional position of every living being. Everyone should be Krishna conscious. So he gave the process for being Krishna conscious, Bhakti Yoga, centered on chanting the holy names. Your beads are falling out of your bead brush. I suggest you can't really chant japa properly in a meeting also. There's a training center also. Even before going to the West, Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to found ideal communities where people could live in Krishna consciousness. Because one of the main instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asat sangatya e vaishnavacha, giving up bad association. We see practically that many people take to Krishna consciousness, but they're not able to practice it to the extent they'd like to because of the being tied up in the modern economic situation. Not only do they have to give their time in activities that don't help them to be Krishna conscious, but they have to associate with people who are quite against that. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to make these communities so that people could live simply and have time for Krishna consciousness. And not only live simply, but even in our work, that can be offered to Krishna, and we can be Krishna conscious at work, which is practically forbidden in the modern workplace. You're not allowed in your workplace to be devotional. So in both ways, that the food or whatever work one is doing, it can be directly offered to Krishna. And during work, one can chant the holy names. Just like traditionally, the farmers behind their bulls would sing the holy names, and the ferrymen crossing the river would chant the holy names. The weaver, while doing the weaving, would chant the holy names. So, to foster that culture and that atmosphere. There are many reasons. Also, to give the children the best chance rather than exposing them to this horrible society. The modern society just completely destroys all the good qualities that anyone has by promoting the most or the worst kind of attitudes. Kam, Krodha, Lobha, these are all promoted in modern society. So, although Krishna consciousness can be practiced in any situation, the idea is to set up a community whereby we can practice on our own terms and conditions. We don't have to adjust ourselves to this demoniac society, which also adversely affects our devotees. We see at so many of our own devotees that they take to Krishna consciousness, but they're still very much influenced by the whole aims and the atmosphere of modern society. So we see that devotees, they're supposed to be devotees, but they themselves, they're very interested in money, prestige, and they have the values of the modern society that so we want to re-establish the old culture which is meant for Krishna consciousness, which means in many ways to go against much of what people in the modern age think is right and proper. We want to live according to the way that Prabhupada taught us, which in many ways is not possible in the modern age. So there are many points. This will also be preaching to the people of the world that this is how human beings should live. Humans are not meant for living in anxiety, eating eating poison, breathing poison, drinking poison, thinking poison. So it's meant to show a better life. That a better life doesn't mean having more money, more cars and more buildings and more. But the best is to have less. Actually, advanced life is to have the minimum of all these things and more Krishna consciousness. So that we want to demonstrate. It's quietly a revolution against everything that the modern materialistic society stands for. So I'd like you to all understand that, living in this grossly materialistic place, that our ideal is just about the opposite of Dubai. Or modern India. Modern India is completely sold out to the idea of materialistic advancement. And the most, you could say, successful gurus, so-called gurus, are those who compromise with this modern society. They offer you courses by which you can get free from stress and personality development, so you can go in and develop yourself and get ahead in modern society. So this guru-giri of the modern age is it's another compromise with materialism. So we want to do something completely different. There are some points. There are many points. I'm sure you've all heard all these things before, but as you're saying, I'm guiding. Yeah, I am guiding, but not in a hands-on way. Some basic idea I'm giving. Basically, I'm just repeating what I heard from Prabhupada. Anyone with any slightly awakened intelligence can understand that this whole modern society is just it's a disaster. Even now it's a disaster, and it's a built-in self-destructive system. It creates so much suffering, and it can't last. This whole modern society, because it's based on karma, material desire, then it must end in krodha. All this, the materialistic societies, they ultimately destroy by violence. One war after another. So that is the fate of modern society. So we want to establish a community in which developing good character, pure character, that is the aim. Of course, that means Krishna consciousness. But that should also be meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, diplomacy, politics, laziness, lack of seriousness about the actual purpose of life. All these should be absent. These should not be allowed or encouraged. So, of course, everything takes time. Another point you were talking about the aims. I just wanted to make a little comment about that. The aim that within 3 years you'll be fully self-sufficient. But of course, I think you all understand that you can't tell exactly what will happen. So that's the aim, which will be sincerely worked on. But things may happen which cause the requirement for outside support to be extended. All kinds of things can happen. So that should be. I think you all understand that lesson. All right, there's my 2 cents worth, as they say. Actually, it's a lot more.
Correct, we need blessings and
Yeah, definitely. I'm very happy that at last, after so much endeavor, somehow or other, things got delayed so much. I was also a factor in that because we were all ready to go to South Tamil Nadu. And I said, okay, but you won't see me then. Because for various reasons, I thought it wasn't so good to go to South Tamil Nadu. Then you'll be on your own out there. Whereas here you have the support of Salem Temple, which does make a lot of difference. It will make a lot of difference. And I hope to spend considerable time there also. So it's taken a long time, unexpectedly long time to come to this point. But anyway, this kind of project, it's not something that's going to happen very quickly anyway. It's worth taking the time to get things right. So I'm very happy that now we can move into the next phase, which is the first phase. This is just like in education at kindergarten. So, I mean, the present work is not really the farm work at all. It's just finding a suitable place. So now, and the next phase is, I guess what's been done is pre-kindergarten, and getting the infrastructure that's the kindergarten. Then the party can begin. With the farming and all this. Another very important point to understand is that farming is not in and of itself our aim and object. Our object is to have kirtan. So farming definitely must be there at all aspects of society. But I've seen some ISKCON farms where they're still trying to farm, but they're just working all day and night and thinking, expand this, it's to grow more crops and get more cash and we'll invest it like that, and they're going on for years and years and years like this, and they never get out of the cycle of working, and then people come and join, but they're just working, and they don't have time for sadhana and all this. But Srila Prabhupada's main aim in having these communities was to save time for chanting Hare Krishna. So generally we think the farm means a lot of work, but Srila Prabhupada thought that it should be less work. So it should be set up like that. Not overly ambitious to expand this way, that way, the other way, but self-sufficiency is just that. Produce what you need, and maybe a little bit extra for trading some simple things, as people used to do, and have time. That means during much of the year there may not be that much work to do. At certain times of the year, sowing, and then with rice, with planting and transplanting, and then harvesting. At certain times of the year there's work, and every day there's work with the cows, and there's always something to do, but for much of the year it may not be. There's so much work, and then you have time to chant Hare Krishna. Have plenty. Save time for chanting. So that has to be cultivated also. Without plenty of kirtan, then there's no meaning to this project. That's the whole purpose. It will be based on the ideal of Vrindavan. That everyone is, Vrindavan, when Krishna was there, personally. That Krishna is there and everyone is doing their duties but fully absorbed in Krishna. That's the idea.